Hi, you're watching PrimeTech Solutions. In this video, I'm going to show the proper cleaning of a desktop computer, the parts that is a must to be clean, and how to clean it. Blowing it like this inside your house is certainly not enough. A messy way and you're just giving yourself additional work. I highly not recommend it. Brushing off the dust isn't enough as well. A computer that has been running for years needed more than blowing and brushing. Okay, rugyente yun. Cleaning a dusty computer is best in an open area like outside your house. But if you prefer to do it inside your house, then you need a vacuum while brushing it so that the dust won't be all over your place. For this PC, I set up a table outside the house, and since I didn't bring my vacuum, I used this bulb dust blower. So these are the basic tools that you need to clean a desktop computer. Upon opening the system unit, start on the cover, then unscrew the chassis fan and brush it. Next would be the video card. Just remove the screw and push down the lock under the video card before pulling it up. This is the lock that holds the video card that you need to push it down before pulling the video card. Here, as you can see, that there are dust underneath the fan. You can use a blower or just brush it off. So what we're going to do is to remove the fan, the cover of the heatsink. We are also going to remove the heatsink. And under this heatsink is for sure a dried thermal paste. So we need to scrape that off, and then we are going to replace it. At the back of this video card is a 4-screw that holds the heatsink. So we need to unscrew this before removing the heatsink. Twist a little, don't just pull up. There you go. As you can see, it is dry, it's hard, so we need to scrape this off. I use a plastic card to scrape off the thermal paste. Don't use metal so that it won't damage the chip. You can also use a cloth or a tissue. Just put alcohol on it, and you can use that to wipe off the thermal paste. But if the thermal paste is as hard as this, then I think it would be very difficult to use alcohol. So just use a card like this and scrape it off. Now it's time to put the thermal paste after cleaning. Spread the thermal paste evenly. You can directly squeeze the thermal paste on the GPU and get a spatula, and you can spread it like this. This is the GPU, or known as the graphic processing unit. It is responsible in processing or rendering graphics that are being displayed on the monitor. The more data it processes, the more heat it generates. And GPU is easily damaged by heat. That is why it needs a heatsink and a cooling fan to cool it down. But why do we need this thermal paste? This thermal paste is a thermal conductor that fills in the microscopic air gaps between the heatsink and the GPU. Because the more contact the GPU makes with the heatsink, the better the transfer of heat. Next part of the computer that needs to be cleaned is the power supply. This power supply has not been opened for a long time, so as we open it, we will see that dust has accumulated all over its components. Now what does this dust do? Well, it causes the components to retain heat, and it makes it more difficult for the fans to dissipate heat, thereby increasing the chance of some of the components to degrade faster or to overheat, like the transistors attached to these heatsinks. Ventilation is also important. That is why, as you can see, the fan is big and there are holes on the side of this power supply. Let's assemble it and let's go to the third important component that needed to be cleaned. The last one would be the central processing unit, or known as CPU, the brain of the computer. Aside from the GPU, CPU is also responsible in processing a lot of data. Therefore, it gets hot. Because heat is the byproduct of the processing ability of the CPU and the GPU. But the question is, does it affect the performance of my PC? Well, the answer is yes. There is what they call processor throttling, also referred to as a frequency scaling. Processor throttling slows down a computer in a bid to use less power and avoid overheating. When excessive dust builds up around the heatsink, which makes heat dissipation slower, it causes the system's temperature to rise quickly. Then the system moves into processor throttling mode, wherein it slows down the computer in a bid to draw less power and thereby dissipates less heat. If the heat is too much, then the system hangs up, it freezes, or it shuts down automatically. Okay, we are done. We also cleaned the chassis fans, so we'll just assemble the PC and it will be good to go. So maintaining your PC like this prolongs the lifespan of your PC and prevents you from high expenses. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, suggestions, or a video request, then please comment below and we'll try to do it. Please support my YouTube channel. Just hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Follow us also in Facebook for more videos. Thank you very much.